Feedback Learnex. English forever.
Hello and welcome to your show, Feedback Learnex. This week's edition, we're going to talk about how marketing affects the way children choose their toys. And for that, we have a very special guest, and here's Miss Marilyn de la Cruz from our Reforma branch. How you doing, Miss Marilyn?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Juan Carlos.
Excellent. As you know, with our show, you can find us in all our social media that you see that right here. Make sure to subscribe in the channel right below. Leave your comments, participate, talk to us, ask your questions, or give us your opinion, and we'll be more than happy to let you know our answers and everything that we have to say. Now, something new that we're starting is we're gonna, as you know, this video is made for you to be able to practice some more what you're seeing in the activities. So every video you're gonna be receiving 3 very special words, and those very special words, you have to remember them throughout the video. See if you can see them, or you can listen to them and catch them as we are talking about it. Yeah, and those 3 special words are?
They are marketing, which is the study of a market in order to understand it. Demographic, which is the study of a smaller group of people within a large group of people. And sensory, which is the focus of your 5 senses, which are your smell, your taste, your listening, and your sight, and your touch.
Excellent. So marketing, demographic, and sensory. Listen out for those words. Anyway, Miss Marilyn, the topic, let's remember, is how children are marketed, how we reach out, or companies reach out to children in order for children to want to acquire, buy, purchase their toys or their candies or their cakes or whatever it is that they're selling, no? So, how do companies today reach children?
Today, it's very interesting how companies reach out or they market to children. They're using a lot of what appeals to kids already in order for them to be attracted to those toys, those foods, those things that they like. So they're using things like movies, like TV shows, things like it's a lot of focus on the kid. Movies that are for children only have a lot of commercials or segments within them. There's a lot of trailers that use toys within them that are going to be sold during this time of the year.
And as well as the social media sites, right? Like, as you know, social media sites ask for your age, where you live, and everything about you so that they can properly send the right type of publicity to you. So if you're a child with a Facebook page and you're 15, 12, 10, 9 years old, you're going to be seeing publicity about things that you like, and it's going to entice you, it's going to invite you to want to get that item.
That's been very common with the boom of social media, with Facebook, with Instagram. Instagram now has commercials as well, little advertisements, and they're geared towards children. So they have toys, they have things that are going to come out during December that will be sold after Black Friday, which is common in the United States.
Now, that's today. No, in today's world, 2017, almost 2018. But how was it at the beginning of the millennium, like in the year 2000?
Okay, in the year 2000, it was more geared towards inclusivity, a family-oriented thing. So it was more trying to attract the mom, the dad of the family that would eventually take the child to the store. And then in the store, it was more of a trying to attract the child. So in-house, it was movies that maybe the parent liked, or commercials that were for the family, for the mother, for the father. And then that lured them into the stores. And then in the store was a very big publicity for the children.
Wow, so a lot more geared towards the parent. But anyway, we're going to continue on the subject because it's a very interesting one. As soon as we get back from our short commercial break, remember we are here in Feedback Learnex. Follow on our social media sites. Remember to subscribe so you can catch us every Thursday at 9:15. And we'll see you back in just a second. We're here with Miss Marilyn. My name is Juan Carlos Lazo, and we'll be right back.
5001-9642 Feedback Learnex.
¿Cansado de querer hablar inglés y no conseguirlo?
En la comunidad Learnex lo podrás lograr. Llámanos 5001-9642. 5001-9642.
Learnex English Forever. 5001-9642. Feedback Learning.
Radio.
And hello, we're back. We're back with our the second part of our show, Feedback Learnex. Today we're talking about how companies market towards children in order for children to want to buy, acquire, purchase different toys, cakes, candy, and everything that is geared towards the children population, the children market. No? Before the break, we were talking about how companies in the early 2000s focused commercials or publicity so that they can attract more children. And Ms. Marilyn was telling us that in the early 2000s, the focus was on the parents, right? So the parents were geared, or their intention was to get the right type of toy for their child, something that's not too violent, something that's not too crazy, so that their child gets the most juice out of it. You know? Why would they do that? Like, what does that do?
Well, essentially, the parents are the ones that pay. The parents are the ones that have the money, and the money is what makes it move. So that's why they marketed more towards parents. And in that time, in the 2000s, was when parents were more leaving the house, not staying at home as much, and they were working outside of the home. Mothers were not taking as much maternity leave, and so they geared it more towards the family in order to make it seem as though the family was still included or still was something important. So the marketing teams would make publicity that attracted the mother kind of in the sentimental aspect. Like, here's a toy that's going to, I don't know, make your kids smarter, or is going to develop more their listening, or develop more their eyesight, or their different senses, their sensory. And so that kind of got them to go to the store. And then in turn, in the stores, they would use colors, extremely bright colors, attractive logos and emblems and pictures that would attract the kids.
Still talking about how the companies and the publicity and the marketing teams were using sensory details, smell, colors, and things that are appealing to a child in order to attract the child. No, remember the words. We've talked about marketing. We talked about sensory. Now, how was it before that? Let's go way back to like 1950, 1960. How did companies work then? Because at that point, you know, social media didn't exist. The internet didn't exist. It was just TV, mainly radio. How did it work in those times?
In those times, it was TV and radio, and when it wasn't, it was paper publicity through newspaper, through flyers. So it was a lot of visual, but it was a lot of adaptation to understand what these people's lives were commonly like. So pictures displayed a lot of what you wanted to be. Kids wanted to be baseball players. They wanted to be football players. So it attracted them in that sense to a more familiar aspect. But it was more towards the kids. It wasn't, and the family environment. It was like a whole inclusive marketing instead of it being individualized.
And what type of toys did we see marketing in that time, in the 1950s, 60s, in the 2000s, and now in 2017, 2018? What type of toys do we see?
In the 50s and 60s, it was more educational, a lot more educational. It made families work together in order for the kids to have fun. But it was also things that forced children to be outside or made them want to be outside. The Red Flyer is a famous wagon that was popular in the 50s and 60s during Christmas time because of the Christmas movie. The 2000s, it was more so, like I said, sensory, a lot of touching, feeling, educational, but in the sense of technology-based. And things that kind of entertained your child, but didn't make the parent have to be there. And now, currently, it's a lot more dynamic, it's a lot more technology-based, and it's a lot more interactive.
Okay, and in those three, what's the main demographic or what age ranges are focused on?
it's generally anywhere from 3 to about 7, 8 years old that are the focus, because in families that's the main age range around this time of the year that people buy gifts for.
The children, no? Santa Claus comes and drops off the gift. All right, so remember the 3 words. We talked about marketing, we talked about sensory, and we also mentioned demographic. Listen out for them. Make sure you play back as many times as you need to in order to catch them, and talk about it. Talk about it, share it with your advisors, with your team leaders, and let us know your opinions, your comments down in the comment section. And remember to follow us on all our social media sites. Make sure to participate, engage with us, ask your questions, make your comments, give us your opinion, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you. Remember your show every week, every Thursday night at 9:15 p.m. This week we have Miss Marilyn de la Cruz. My name is Juan Carlos Lazo. Thank you for watching us here on your show Feedback Learnex, and we'll see you next week.
Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Estamos en sintonía. Feedback Learnex, English Forever. English Forever. Feedback Learnex.